Hey there, I'm professional psychic Karen Marie, and this is Psyched Up Sundays for October 2nd, 2022. For those of you who don't know me, I've been a professional psychic in Austin, Texas since 1988. I'm a channel, I'm a medium, and an empath, and I utilize astrology and tarot in my readings. I also facilitate past life regressions, rebirthing sessions, psychic development instruction, house clearings, and house concerts. So if you're interested in getting with me for a private reading, I'll put my website and my email below so you can contact me, reach out. Also, this is the season for parties. So if you want me at your holiday party, make sure you reach out and get me on your calendar because my schedule definitely fills up this time of year. I'm offering a special for those of you who want to have me at your parties, reduced price readings. So, and parties are usually set up in one of two ways. Either the host or hostess pays for my time and then gifts to their friends or their loved ones at the party with mini readings. Usually it's 15 to 30-minute readings at parties. Gifts them, gifts everybody at your party with time with me, or the host has me available in a private room and each of your guests pay me independently and directly for your mini reading. And again, these are going to be reduced price, less than my usual rate for the rest of this year for the holiday season. So make sure you contact me. And a party can be as little as 2 hours of my time. So 4 friends getting 30-minute readings each is enough to qualify for a party in the reduced price rate. So make sure you contact me if you're interested in that. So I'm going to dive into the transit for this week. I'll also be doing mini readings for all 12 signs. Remember, we all have all 12 signs in our chart, so you can listen to all of those. But please check out your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign. Or if you have a stellium, which means 3 or more planets in a sign, you're going to be feeling the influences of that sign. So make sure and check out the reading for that. I'll put the timestamps below that. And then I'm going to end this video today with an original song of my own. I'll sing and play guitar on that. So I'll put the timestamp for that as well. So let's dive in. So right now, at the start of this week, and just for those of you who don't understand much about astrology or the transits are where the planets are in the skies right now. It's like the astrology weather report. I mean, people ask like, why do you need to know transits? It's like, why do you need to know what the weather forecast is? Like, I particularly want to know if it's going to be 100 degrees outside or if there's a chance of thunderstorms or hurricanes or tornadoes. I'd like to know that information. Similarly, when astrology is shining and lovely, it's good to know that that's a good time to plan your deep conversations, your meetups. And when things are kind of less than favorable out there, it's a good time to hold off on your major conversations, your major decisions, that kind of thing. So I really love to follow astrology. As I said in my video last week, I shared how the astrology lined up on the day that my youngest 2 children moved out of the house. It was, you can't make that kind of stuff up. So it's interesting to look at what's going on and how that shows up. And astrology is not predictive any more than you can predict where a hurricane is exactly going to strike or a tornado, but you can know that the conditions are ripe for certain things. And it explains a lot about human nature and human behavior, particularly if you follow the moon and notice how you feel as the moon goes through certain signs. Like this last week, as the moon was moving through Scorpio, everyone I talked to was feeling moody and irritable and had deep stuff going on. A lot of people were more teary than usual. That's the moon moving through a deep level water sign. The Scorpio is the deep, dark waters. And then when the moon moved into Sag, people were feeling more social. It was more time to be out and move about the cabin and check in with other people. Right now, the moon is in the first decan of Capricorn, which adds a very grounded energy to us. It helps us get things done and be more practical. I was talking with a girlfriend this week who's a Pisces sun, which can be kind of wiggy and slippery, but she has a Capricorn moon. So she's not flaky at all, as many Pisces can be. So, it really gives her this groundedness to her life because she carries that strong Capricorn moon energy with her throughout her whole life. So, the moon in the chart really tells a lot about your inner emotional state, your intuition. The sun is like your personality and what you shine as. Your rising sign, which you can only determine if you know the time that you were born. The rising sign is really what people see you as, how you show up in the world. For example, I'm a triple Aries, super fiery. My sun, my Mercury, my moon are all in Aries. Gives me lots of passion, lots of drive, lots of tendencies to be impulsive and to jump into things, to start things and maybe not finish them. My rising sign is Libra, really laid back, really easygoing, weighing things out. So a lot of people are surprised when they get to know me to find out that I'm an Aries because they really feel that Libra coming off me very strongly. So that's just an example of how. And a lot of times when people don't buy into astrology, it's probably because their sun sign is not the most predominant energy in their chart, because you could have 3 or 4 planets in a different sign, and that sign is going to be more prominent and show up more strongly in your life. So astrology is fascinating. It's like a puzzle. You can put together the puzzle of who you are by studying your birth chart or studying the people in your lives charts and get to know them well. And I always recommend the website astro.com, astro.com. You can register for free and you can plug in your time of birth, your place of birth, of course, your date of birth, and generate your own personal chart with that website. And there's lots of free things that you can do with that site. So if you want to know more about your site and you're still clueless, you can't figure it out, that's when you contact me. I'll give you a reading. We'll dive into your birth chart. We'll look at how the current transits are affecting you. So right now, the sun is at 9 degrees of Libra. This is the last degree of the first decan of Libra. So the sun has been moving through the first decan of Libra. Libra is about relationships. It's about justice and fairness. So as the sun has moved through this first decan of Libra, there's been a lot of feeling out. Does this feel right for me? Is this just? Is this fair? Am I balancing my energies between myself and what I do for me and what I do for other people? So the focus on relationships gets exaggerated when planets are moving through Libra. Also, justice and fairness. Libra is the scale. So a lot of legal things hit the news and hit, and just in your own personal life, if situations, power and control issues, do they feel just? Do they feel fair? Do you feel like you're treated fairly in your life, in your relationships with others, with people who are in power in your lives? Venus has now also moved into Libra. It's at 4 degrees. So it's 5 degrees off the sun. It's traveling behind the sun. It'll catch up with the sun and be exactly conjunct later this month. But they're in a conversation with each other. Planets within 10-degree orbs of each other are considered conjunct. It means they're having some sort of chemistry or interaction and influencing each other. The closer by degree the planets are to each other, the stronger we feel that connection. This is true whether it's an opposition, a conjunction, a trine, a sextile, a square. Exact degree points, we can feel it intensely. Within 3 degrees, we really feel conjunctions, trines, all these aspects. So pay attention to that. So Venus is one of the rulers of Libra. So Venus represents our love, our relationships, who we love, what we love, how we receive energies. Venus also rules our money, our finances. It's also representative of the divine feminine and female women in our lives. So when Venus comes into Libra, there's a lot more focus on female friendships, relationships of all kinds. So we've got the sun there exaggerating these themes, and now Venus, the ruler of Libra, in Libra as well. So there's a lot of focus on relationships, justice and fairness, money, finances, all these issues, women in our lives right now. So that will be continuing to be the case as the sun continues to move through Libra, as does Venus. So the sun starts at 0 degrees in a sign. 29 degrees is the last degree of a sign before it moves into the next sign. It takes the sun about a degree a day to move through. That's the pace of the sun. It's about a degree a day. The inner planets move more quickly, Venus, Mercury, and Mars. The outer planets move more slowly, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus. So right now we have Mercury having gone direct as of this morning. So it's been retrograde for several weeks. This was a particularly potent Mercury retrograde. I started feeling it beforehand when it was in its shadow zone. In fact, it was more intensive for me before it actually went retrograde, really feeling computer glitchy stuff, phone glitchy stuff, conversations where communication just didn't go down well, having to rethink. So anytime a planet is retrograde, the re's come into place: review, rethink, reconsider. And there's a lot of internal energy. So we go within a lot when planets are retrograde. And right now, Mercury's gone direct, but all the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, all are retrograde. Chiron, is also retrograde. So, in fact, Pluto will be stationing to turn direct. It'll turn direct next Sunday on the 9th. It's not moving where it is in the skies. Right now, it's at 26 degrees and 7 minutes. It just stays there all week long. So whenever a planet stations direct or retrograde, it's upping its ante in terms of whatever that planet represents. It gets more, the volume gets turned up on that. So right now, as Mercury has turned direct, the volume is turned up around the things that Mercury represents: our thoughts, our communications with others. So internally, and when it goes retrograde when it goes direct after it's been retrograde, we can have these like aha moments, realizations. All of a sudden we see more clearly. Pluto is a slower moving outer planet, so we really start feeling its intensity. So it's been retrograde, so we're doing a lot of internal considering of power and control issues in our life. Pluto represents transformation, death and transformation, rebirth. It's deep, dark waters. It's ruler of Scorpio, so it's very potent, very powerful. Wherever Pluto is in your birth chart is where you've come in to do some heavy duty transforming in your life. Where the Pluto is transiting, you're doing current transformations. So Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. So it's transforming that sector of your life. So for me, that's my 4th house. So since Pluto has entered, I've moved several times. I'm about to move again in a couple of weeks. I've had children move out of my nest, come back in, and move back out again. The last 2 just moved out. So I am empty nested for the first time since I was 22 years old. So there's been great level transformation in the house that represents my home, my family, my core energy. That's where Pluto is transiting for me, and it's definitely showing up in my life. So wherever Pluto is, I guarantee you'll be having power and control issues, transformation in that area of your life. And right now, since Pluto is stationing to turn direct, and it's like trying to turn the Titanic around, right? It doesn't move quickly. So all week long, it's at the same degree point. It'll turn direct at this degree point, and then it stays at this degree point for another week, even when it's direct. So this area of your life that it's in right now is doing some deep, deep, deep level shifting for all time, because once Pluto goes forward, it will never come back to this degree point again in your lifetime. It takes Pluto 250-ish plus years to go all the way around the astrological wheel. So right now we're having in America the Pluto return. And Pluto in the Americas chart is actually at 27 degrees. So Pluto has already touched that degree point, went a little before it, has turned back and go retrograde back over it. Now it's going to go back and hit it again as it moves forward. So it's activating the energies that the United States was formed with. What were the power and control issues when the US was formed, right? We were rebelling against the control of England at the time, right? We were like, we're going to reject your power. We're going to do our own thing. And who was making those decisions? Who were the people in control and in charge of the United States of America? White men with money and power. Right. So that has been the paradigm that we've been under for the last 250 years plus, whenever, since the United States was formed in 1776. So, but Pluto, wherever it is, it transforms that, changes it for all time. So right now, Pluto is in the business of transforming the energy that the United States was formed with, the power and control, the way this country is run. What's enlightening to me and exciting to me is that Pluto will begin to move into Aquarius as early as March of 2023. It goes forward, it goes backwards, it'll back into Capricorn again. It'll go to these last degrees, 28, 29 degrees. It won't come back to the 27 or the 26 degree point that it's been going back and forth in this past year. But Aquarius is a completely different energy than Capricorn. Pluto and Capricorn is the good old boys network. Capricorn's the earth. It's the solid. It's the way we've done things forever and ever. It's solid, right? Aquarius is an air sign. It's the vibey lines. It's everyone working together. It's humanity. It's everyone. It's the maverick. It's the unique and the different. It's thinking outside of the box. It's new. It's innovative. The ruler of Aquarius is Uranus, and Uranus throws curveballs, unexpected things outside the box. So as Pluto begins to move into Aquarius, we're going to see some crazy innovative approaches to leadership. So in terms of predicting these elections that are coming up, in terms of who's going to be our president next time around, considering that Pluto goes into Aquarius to stay just after the elections in 2024 is when Pluto is in Aquarius to stay, and it'll do a long transit through Aquarius. My sense is that whoever is president, and may not be who is elected president, but who is in that throne, using that term loosely, will be someone new and innovative. I don't think it's going to be Biden or Trump, because these two, I think, represent opposite ends of the pendulum, but they're both the old school paradigm, right? The older white men with money, right? So the new paradigm, whoever is going to be in the president's seat in the next term is going to be someone innovative, someone new, a breath of fresh air. So even if these two run or get elected, I don't think that they would fill out their term, because there will be somebody new coming in. So that's just what I'm getting. I'm not sure how that's going to show up with this next current elections that are coming up in November, but I do know that we'll have a solar eclipse on election day. I mean, we have a total, no, it's a lunar eclipse, a total lunar eclipse on election day on November 8th. It'll be at 16 degrees of Taurus. It'll be conjunct Uranus. So it's going to be sudden, unexpected results is what I feel in this next election cycle, because of the players in place. Eclipses are portal points. It's like the timeline gets sped up. It's like doing leapfrog, the game of leapfrog. You catapult over where you are now, you're jettisoned forward. And it's a portal point. People come into your life, people exit your life during eclipses. We start feeling eclipses beforehand, like 6 weeks before. We can feel them 6 months afterwards. So we're entering into the eclipse season. I talked about this last week. We'll have a partial solar eclipse on October 25th. It'll be at 2 degrees of Scorpio, followed by the total lunar eclipse on November 8th in Taurus. So the eclipses are always close to where the nodes are, which are in Taurus and Scorpio. North Node is where it's our collective destiny. It's what we're learning. In Taurus, it's a lot about valuing ourselves. And Scorpio, the South Node, is where we're releasing things. We're letting go of deep karmic patterns, releasing for all time. So it's clearing things out. It's letting things go. So this lunar eclipse that's going to be in Taurus on November 8th is conjunct Uranus. It'll be this innovative, new breath of fresh air, unexpected events, because the Uranus piece are going to bring in, and eclipses bring in unexpected things. Like, we can't usually predict what's going to happen around eclipses, except that they're going to be potent and powerful, and we already start feeling them ahead of time. So pay attention to who's coming into your life now. If people are exiting your life now, bye-bye. Thank you for what you've taught me. Let them go. Let them move on. Let them ease on down the road. So it's the universe kind of putting its hand in and helping shake up our lives and helping us go down the road of our destiny, what we're destined to be doing and learning and growing from here. All right. So back to the transits. So the moon right now is in Capricorn. Like I said, it's super grounded. It's easy to get things done and make decisions that last, and be able to utilize your intuition in practical ways. I believe everyone is psychic. We all are intuitive. For some of us, the volume is turned up super loud. We just can't ignore our intuition. Other people's volume is turned down. It's not as loud. It's not as clear. Not sure when it's your intuition talking to you. If you're confused about that, that's another thing I can help you work with, getting clear about how your intuition shows up in your life. But you think of all the senses. So psychic abilities can happen in all the various ways that we sense things. Some people are super visual. They want to see the picture of it. So psychically, some people are super visual. They can see auras. They can see spirit guides. They can see visions, right? Other people who are very in touch with their intuition, their feelings, are empathic, can feel what other people are feeling. It took me a long time to understand that how I was feeling, particularly when I was feeling negative or funky, wasn't always about how I personally was feeling. A lot of times it was me soaking up the energy of the people around me, completely unaware that that's what I was doing, internalizing everyone's feeling, being an emotional sponge. So if you're an empath, it's really important to learn how to wring yourself out, clear yourself out. Spiritual practices are super important when it comes to that. Grounding yourself in the elements, sitting in front of a fire, burning candles, soaking in the water, taking walks where you're grounding yourself, gardening. These are great ways to ground yourself. This is one of my tools. It's a bottle of rose water that I picked up at Whole Foods, just rose essential oil in purified water. I add to that Rescue Remedy, which is a Bach flower, which is the essences of flowers. It's 5 different essences that are put together in a remedy. I also use this underneath my tongue whenever I'm having intense emotional experiences. My midwives drop this in my mouth and my children's mouth at my home births too, because birth can be traumatic. Positive events can be traumatic as well. So I keep a bottle of Rescue Remedy on hand to take subliminally underneath my tongue whenever I'm needing it. And then I put Rescue Remedy in this bottle of rose water that I got at Whole Foods and spritz myself with it regularly whenever I just need to clear my auric field of the funk or the debris that comes around. I also keep a bottle of this with the Rescue Remedy in my car, because that's when I intend to get the most frenetically overloaded, is all the traffic, especially here in Austin, Texas. The traffic has gone cray over the last couple decades. So that's when I can end up being really stressed out and really picking out. And people are at their worst in cars. I don't have to preach this to you. Y'all know this. People get inside their vehicles and they're the worst. Like my kids used to behave the worst when they would get inside a vehicle. There's just something about being inside a metal container that ratchets up people's energy. And so people can just be their worst. They would behave totally different if they were standing next to you in line at a grocery store versus being in their vehicle. So I keep a bottle of this in my car, spritz myself when I'm on the road when as need be, and it just helps me clear the funk out of my auric field, you know. So back to how people pick up psychically. So some people are auditory, right? They can hear things. They need to hear, listen. And so some people can hear voices, can hear their guides talking to them, just hear messages from spirit in an auditory way. It's psychically hearing things, psychic ears, psychic eyes, psychic feelings, psychic smells. These are all ways that you can pick up things psychically. And usually there'll be a particular place in your body where you feel things psychically. For me, I can often feel it in my gut, particularly if I'm picking up emotional stuff, right? But I'll also get a tingling. Like when I'm channeling, I feel the energy coming in through the top of my head and like cascading down my body. So I'll often get rushes, what feels like electric energy running through my body. I'll get goosies, that I call it, like running down my arms, down my face when I'm like right on or information is pouring in. Or if someone says something that's truth, I can get a rush of these electric energies running through me. That's just an example of the ways that psychic abilities can show up. So just a shout out. And so when the moon is in Capricorn, the energies are a lot more grounded, and then we can be more practical with our intuition. Like, okay, I need to do this. I need to do that. I'm feeling guided to do this. Then this week, Tuesday, the moon will cross over Pluto, which intensifies the energy of Pluto when the moon and Pluto get together in the sky. So it can be extra emotional. Pluto brings truth too. Like it's one of the things that we can see clearly. We can see the truth. And right now we have Mercury in a trine with Pluto all week long. Right now, Mercury's at 24 degrees. Pluto's at 26 degrees. Pluto's moving a little bit slower because it's turned around, but all week long it's in a trine. It's exact with Pluto in a trine on Thursday, but it's really in a trine with Pluto all week long. So truths can come out in conversations. People can blurt out the truth in ways that they weren't even expecting to say. You can have ahas, realizations in your mind, in your thinking. If you've been not clear about things, you can all of a sudden see things clearly, particularly now that Mercury has moved direct. So that's a really beautiful energy. The backdrop of the whole week is this Mercury trine Pluto, which I think is going to be really great for clarity, for truth, for conversations, for getting clear with yourself, writing things down in your journal. All right. So the moon will move into Aquarius on Tuesday, and then moves into Pisces on Thursday, moves into Aries Friday, and then we have a full moon in Aries on next Sunday on the 9th. It's exact at 3:54 p.m. Austin, Texas time. It'll be exact at 16 degrees and 32 minutes of Aries. So let's talk about the full moon. Full moons are when things come to fruition. It can be an ending point. Things end, relationships can end. Things you've been putting your energy into can come to a conclusion. It's also a time for illumination, right? We can see things more clearly. Things can be revealed under a full moon. This full moon is particularly powerful because it will be conjunct Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. Right now, Chiron's at 14 degrees of Aries. It is retrograde. So again, we're going within. In this middle decan of Aries, Aries is the baby of the zodiac, right? It's how we feel about ourselves primarily. Planets that are in Aries have a lot to do with the self and me and I, and this is what I want. When the moon and other planets move through Aries, it can also stir up unresolved anger issues. Aries is ruled by Mars, the god of war. It's also how we put energy into things, how we take action. So I've noticed consistently when the moon moves through Aries that people can be extra pissy. So watch, and then a full moon, I mean, there's a reason for the word lunatic. It can really bring out the crazy in people. So there is this potential with the full moon as we're heading into it. Again, we feel transits ahead of time, we feel them after the fact, but we're heading into this full moon in Aries on Sunday. I feel like we'll be feeling it ahead of time. So watch out for your own unresolved anger. Stuff can come up to a head to be cleared. How you feel about yourself can really be highlighted, because this moon in Aries is really about how you feel about the self. And the full moon is always when the sun is opposite the moon, right? So the moon is in Aries, the sun is in Libra. So there's also at this full moon, this tug of war between the sun in Libra, which is all about relationships, justice, and fairness. And then the moon in Aries, which is like, what about me? Do I put energies into myself, or do I put energies into others? So there's a lot of realization and clarity can be in just how are you balancing your life? Are you taking care of yourself? You're putting enough energy into self-care, right? So these things can reach ahead. Chiron is in your birth chart. Chiron is where we've been wounded in many, many lifetimes. The glyph looks like a key. So it'll show up early in childhood, usually in a place of where you get triggered, where it's an ouch, where it usually takes many, many rounds to completely heal. But the goal is to heal the area of your life where Chiron shows up in your natal chart, in your birth chart. The transiting Chiron is helping all of us on the planet heal particular things. In this mid-decan of Aries, it's really healing how we feel about ourselves, Aries, second decan, in our relationships with other people, how other people feel about us. Do we care how other people feel about us? Do we go out of our way to try to please others? Do we work on trying to please ourselves? Doesn't matter if someone else calls us out or thinks negatively of us. How much does that affect us? These are kind of some of the themes that are being healed with the Chiron in this mid-decan of Aries. So the moon will cross over Chiron on Sunday before it gets full. So there's this bringing up to a head these issues of like, do I feel loved by the world? Do I love myself enough to balance out if someone outside of me doesn't, right? It can also draw in and show us who does love and support us in our lives, right? So the sun has Venus conjuncted at this full moon, and the moon has Chiron conjuncted. So this is some really intensive energies. And this same day is also when Pluto goes direct. So Pluto is a major player in this full moon, death and transformation. So there can be very, very powerful truths revealed, transformations in our relationships, in our relationship to ourselves, in our relationship to what we perceive others in terms of how they're perceiving us and whether we care or not. When being able to see, illuminate, the moon illuminates who's really there for us and in our court, who's not, right? Being able to sift through the shaft, right? What's important, who's not important. Again, women, female can be highlighted in this full moon. The moon is the divine feminine. Venus is going to be across the skies, also playing into this. So it also highlights our women friends. Do our female friends in our lives have our backs? Are they really there for us? Are they not? Are they talking about us behind our back? Those kind of secrets can be revealed because Pluto is the keeper of deep, dark secrets as the ruler of Scorpio. So secrets can be revealed always under a full moon, but particularly when Pluto is in play. So again, we have Pluto at this standstill. So there's things reaching ahead and deeply transforming the area of your life where Pluto is right now. Like I said, once it goes direct and starts moving forward, it will never come back to this place in our chart again in our lifetime. So It's a powerful, powerful thing that's going on. Jupiter right now is at 2 degrees of Aries. Jupiter makes things bigger. It's one of the beneficial planets. Like, so Venus and Jupiter are like the kisses from the universe. Right now, this week, they've been opposite each other. Venus is at 4 degrees, Jupiter's at 2. Again, they're within a 2-degree orb of an opposition. So it's also bringing to a head, shining the light on our love, on our relationships, on our finances, on our money, on justice and fairness. These whole themes can be really brought to a crescendo in our world and our personal lives. And then depending on where you have Aries and Libra in your birth chart, it's going to be highlighting these houses or these areas of your life as well. So Jupiter is going to be at 2 degrees all week long. 2 degrees is about your feelings. At this first decan of Aries, how you feel about yourself is really going to be highlighted this week. So you can really have truth. Some of these truths that are going to be revealed this week is what you really feel about yourself. Do you really love yourself? Do you really believe in yourself? So these themes are really going to be highlighted, I believe, this week. And then Jupiter will move to 1 degree by next Sunday. So it'll be at 1 degree close to the world axis. So the world axis is at 0 degrees of all the cardinal signs. So 0 degrees of Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn are the world axis. So Jupiter is moving closer to the world axis. So that means events that happen on the world stage are getting this kiss from Jupiter. I think it's helping to protect us, given what's going down in the Ukraine right now. Jupiter sitting close to conjunct the world axis right now, I think is bringing in a protective energy, hopefully protecting us from a nuclear war. That's kind of how I'm seeing Jupiter's like, I'll hold this space. I'll keep it all good here. Oh, yeah, bringing good luck, good juju in this. And again, the moon will cross over Jupiter before it gets to its fullness next weekend. So again, a kiss from Jupiter on its way to fullness. So this can be a really exciting full moon. Jupiter brings in gifts, brings in benefits. So it's a lovely energy that we have. So this week, bringing in benefits of loving ourselves more, I think is one of the gifts that Jupiter can bring everyone. If you're open to receiving that, you can really have like some soul healing on that issue in your life, transforming the Pluto energy, transforming how you feel about yourself, I think can be very paramount this week. Also going on in a backdrop all week long is Saturn squaring Uranus. So they're both at 18 degrees. They're not exact in minutes, but they're exact in degrees. And they were exact 3 different times last year. The first being in February of 2021. That's when we had the sudden unexpected Uranus freeze here in Texas, and Saturn, the government, the rules, the constriction. We had this shutdown, right? Power grid and water and all that went down. So that was the first meetup between these two. They were both direct at the time. Then we had a second meetup of the two in the summertime and another one towards the end of the year last year. Now we've had this 4th and final square, for the time being anyway, between Uranus, that represents the sudden unexpected, innovation, technology at its highest. Alien connection is ruled by Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius. What's interesting is Uranus is the maverick, sudden, unexpected. It's in Taurus, which represents the earth, one of the things that Taurus represents. So Uranus has been shaking up and bringing unexpected earth changes. Saturn can be the government. It can be the restriction. It can be the old. Uranus can be the new. Saturn's the old. So there's a conflict between the old and the new, the status quo, the way we've always done things, and the new innovative spirit coming in. So what have we had this square? Now we've had another hurricane, sudden, unexpected, knocking out the status quo, the way things have formed, the way the government deals with things in Florida, now in the Carolinas as well. So it's interesting to me that when these squares have happened, there's been these major earth changes that have been just revolutionary, really changing things up in a major way. So we can't control Uranus. We can't predict it. They're in a continued square all week long. So this can also, they're both retrograde right now. So this can also be going on internally. What part of you needs innovation and change in your life? What part of you is trying to keep things the same? No, I just want to keep doing this. This is the way I've been doing it. So you may feel this tug of war, this conflict. The square is contentious relationship between the way you've always done things, or like, I like to do it this way, and then this maverick energy, like changing it up, do it new, do it in an innovative way, break it up, change it up. So that can be going on in an internal way in your personal life as well, where there's like having friction between the old and the new, bringing things up to a head. So that can be going on this week as well for everyone. Let's see. I talked about Mercury trining Pluto all week. So that's a beautiful energy for truth and transformation in your mind and your conversations with others. Let's see. What else do I put in here? Okay. So Mars is in its shadow zone, meaning that it will go retrograde at the end of this month. It goes retrograde on October 30th. So it's already going over the degrees that it will retrograde back into. So it will go up to like 25, 26 degrees of Gemini. It turns around, goes backward all the way to 8 degrees. It will be retrograde until like January 12th, I believe, somewhere in there in the mid of January. Then it starts going forward again. It won't be till March 26th that Mars moves into Cancer. Usually Mars takes about 6 weeks to go through a sign. It's really parked here in Gemini, which feels very mercurial, feels very Mercury retrograde, because Mars is the ruler of Aries. So it's the ruler of this full moon, because the full moon is in Aries, but Mars is in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. Mercury rules the head. It rules our technology, our communications, our media. Mars is the planet of taking action. With Gemini, it's the twins. Do I do this? Do I do that? A lot of choices get presented when Mars, how we put energy into things. Do we go this way? Do we go that way? So this has already been coming up as Mars has been in Gemini for a while already. So again, it goes retrograde on the 30th of October. So that's when it's like, what? Things get backed up. It's going to feel very Mercury retrograde-ish when Mars is retrograde. And again, we're parked in a retrograde with Mars from October 30th until January. So through the election cycle, through all the holidays, we got Mars backing it up. So this could also, Mars again is the god of war. So there can be really going back over old conflicts. Mars is also our ego. So I mean, there can be a lot of internal stuff being stirred up. And again, Mars energy can bring the pissy out of people, can bring confusion. It can bring heated conversations out when Mars goes retrograde in Gemini. Gemini rules communication. So, so we may, even though Mercury has now gone direct, it won't get out of its shadow for another couple of weeks. So we can still feel the Mercury retrograde residue. And then we're going to turn around and have Mars go retrograde. So that's going to be intensive as well. I'm predicting that this Mars retrograde cycle is going to be particularly intensive when it comes to media and things on the news and things we're reading and taking. It may be a great time to take a social media or a news break where we just don't tune in to what's being broadcast, right? And go within instead. I mean, again, when planets go retrograde, it's a great time to go back internally. So Mars retrograde is a great time to go back in. Am I putting my energies and my action into the things that benefit me in my life? Am I listening to guidance? Mercury rules the head, so we can get up in our head and bat things around and be overthinking things. And Mercury, you know, it's in Virgo right now, so it's in its home sign. So right now it's a time to get clarity. But when Mars is up there in Gemini, so there can be some confused thinking again once Mars goes retrograde. So just a heads up about that. And then, of course, we're headed into these eclipses. The first one coming at the end of this month before Mars goes retrograde. It's like a kickoff to Mars retrograde, will be the solar eclipse in Scorpio. Again, Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. So an eclipse is going to activate this Pluto energy even more. So death and transformation, power and control issues really ratcheting up. Saturn goes direct just before that on October 23rd. Saturn is about our rules, our constrictions, how we form things. It can be government. It's father time. So again, when the planet is stationing to turn around, it brings the energy that it highlights and activates to a head. So we're having this activation of the Saturn energy. Again, we're already in a square, which is activating the Saturn energy. And then we move into Saturn moving direct on the 23rd, the eclipse on the 25th, and then Mars going retrograde on the 30th. So that's a preview of coming attractions towards the end of the month. So this is really a transformational month. October is. It's pretty intensive. And then we're going to be dealing with the Mars retrograde throughout the rest of this year. So that is going to be it's a time to really try to tune into your intuition again, because it's in Gemini. We can freak out because our heads could go blah, 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 blah. So it's going to be extra critical to spend those time disconnecting from our brain, disconnecting from the world, connecting in with our own higher self, our own divine connection, the part of ourself that's connected to the infinite, right? The divine, whatever you want to call the divine in your life. We all have access to that within ourselves. We all have a Buddha nature, a Christ self, a higher self, a divine self. It's the piece of our soul that's not about our brains and our egos. It's the part of our soul that continues on into the next dimension and into the next lifetime after we put our egos and our physical body down. So it's critical because our intuition is the voice of our higher self. So when we practice connection with our divine self, practice listening to and following our intuition, we're going to be on the best path for us. We're going to be able to avoid conflict out in the world if we're listening to our intuition and creating and cultivating peace and divine connection within. Divine is the ultimate in love, in compassion, in joy, in wisdom. We have access to that no matter what's going down in the world, no matter what's going down in the astrological realm. We can always carve out time to connect with the divine, connect with our higher self, listen to our intuition to get the guidance that we need for right now, today. And it's really important to just do that on a daily basis. Disconnect from the world, disconnect from our brain, move the emotional body to the side, and just connect with the divine within ourselves. Send the divine out to the world, to those in your life that you love. All right, that's what I have about the transits for this week. Take a quick of my water. I'll move on to doing readings for all 12 signs. So I invite you to breathe deeply, right? And so I'm going to ask that we get the highest guidance for each sign and what each sign needs to know for this coming week, or whenever you're watching this video, if you're watching at some point in the future, that it'd be appropriate to whenever you're viewing this. So let's start with the Aries, the baby of the zodiac. You guys are really going to be feeling the full moon next weekend, next Sunday in your sign. You can feel activated. You can feel like you're starting a new cycle of some sort, some kind, especially also with Jupiter in your sign. Jupiter takes 12 years to go around the zodiac. It's going to back into Pisces later this month. And then it'll move forward towards the end of the year back into Aries, starting a whole new 12-year cycle. So this is a wrap up of like the last 12 years and a new beginning for the coming 12 years. So it's a great time to be thinking, what do I want to release and let go of in my life? What do I want to have the next 12 years looking like in my life? What do I want to bring into my life? Who do I want to bring into my life? Who do I want to let go of? What do I want to let go of? Let's see. And just for those of you that are curious, I use the Osho Zen Tarot deck in my readings. All right, I've got the Thunderbolt card. This card is the Tower card in the traditional tarot deck. So this is major change and transformation, which is not surprising given that the full moon is in your sign this week. So a lot of upheaval, a lot of change, power and control issues really showing up. When Pluto's energy is activated, there can be power and control issues that show up externally, but the real power is, what do you have power over within your life? What do you not? What it's kind of like the serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's kind of the energy of this week with this card I'm feeling. It's like, where can you take action? Where can you make major changes in your life? Where can you cut ties and let go of things and say, I'm done with this. I'm letting go of this, right? There can be like an obsessive quality with Pluto energy as well. Are you obsessing around something? Do you have some addiction energy that you need to let go of? Is there a chemical, a drug, a person that you're addicted to that you need to release and let go of? Can you breathe in and draw in the power of the universe into your life? Because this is like things jumping ship. You can feel like you've been attacked energetically. But again, in the middle of this tower and people jumping ship and falling out, this person is in a meditative pose, right? So if you really up your spiritual practice this week, and spiritual practice can just be focusing in on your breath work. It can be being in prayer with the divine. It can be chanting. It can be drumming. It can be soaking in the tub. Where do you connect with the divine? You're probably going to have to connect in all the ways that you know how to this week, because it feels like it can be an intensive week. Like all your chakras feel like they're on fire. Like there can be this kundalini energy. You could feel like, watch out. You may feel like you're throwing lightning bolts yourself, like get out of your way because you've got the power this week. And this electric energy, this energy of things being channeled, about the universe sort of being with you. We're going to break things loose. We're going to break things up. We're going to break through this week. I see this, but it could feel disconcerting if you're holding on to the way you want things to be. Let go, trust the divine, trust how things fall out of your life and fall into your life this week. Trust yourself when you feel prompted to have the courage to take action in certain ways. Know that if you have to stand up for yourself and your rights, if you're in a power and control issue in a relationship or with your boss or with a government agency, with whoever, empower yourself, take your power back. No one should have power and control over you. Where do you have your point of power? Are you giving it away? You may need to bring it back and take that in. It doesn't have to be a fight. It doesn't have to show up as war, but it could. It could show up as like a fight, a power struggle. But again, if you center yourself, look at this figure that's in this meditation behind the scene that's happening. Disconnect from the 3D realm of the cray and how things may be flowing down. Make sure you're grounding yourself in your connection with your divine self, your higher self, that you are seeking guidance about how to move forward, that you're feeling this rush, this change of energies, and feeling empowered in a positive way. Like power can feel positive. It can feel negative if someone else is wielding power against you. You can feel empowered if you're trying to harness the power of the universe and realizing that we all have the power of the universe within us, right? It's not an ego power. It's not power over anyone else. It's empowering yourself. So this week can feel like an empowering, transformational week where you can really have life-changing events happening for this week for the Aries. So give me some reports on this. Like I'd be interested in knowing. I'm a triple Aries, so this is affecting me as well. I'll be interested to see where these show up in my life. Do I feel like watch out, here I come. There's an empowerment happening this week for the Aries. Lots of transformation and change. And there could definitely be things where you go, nope, I'm out, I'm done. No more of this, dropping the mic. And there could be great movement, shifting, and change in your life that feels super powerful, empowering. These are your words this week for the Aries. All right, we'll go to the Tauruses. All right, so since you have Uranus in your chart, in your sign, and Uranus is in a square with Saturn, you could feel this personally too. You can feel like some conflict going up between ways you want to change things up and do things in a new way, and ways that the status quo, the established world is going, oh, you can't do that. So you can feel this sort of rebel within being activated this week, Tauruses. Like, you can be slow to anger, but get out of your way if something pisses you off. So it feels like, watch out for anger being triggered this week, Tauruses. Breathe deeply before you take action. Take action that you feel guided to take. You may do something completely outside of what you usually do. You may change it up this week. Ooh, and I've drawn the Lovers card for the Tauruses. This could be unexpected love coming in. This can be a deepening of self-love as well. It can be the Lovers card usually means love showing up in your life in some form or fashion, the people that love you, your inner child feeling loved and supported. So this can be like, it can be a banquet. You can have a number of people showing up to show you love. You can feel loved by the universe this week. You can find a special soulmate kind of a love showing up for you this week as well. Some of you may already be in relationships with who you consider to be your soulmate or the love of your life, in which case there can be a deepening, a transforming going on in that relationship. Again, things may come up to a head to clear out some debris that's in the way of connecting or networking with someone that you love. I feel like I'm looking at this beautiful sort of geometry thing right there in the throat chakras between the two. So it feels like there can be some really magical, mystical conversations happening with people, like really fabulous from the heart ways that you're communicating with others, sharing how you feel maybe with someone else. There's this beautiful love, just feeling loved as well. Like the universe feels like it's giving you a big kiss this week. Breath of fresh air. There's this download of spirit. This is divine love. This is not like someone, I mean, it can be an attachment, but it feels like it's coming from a very divine place, like divine love, like really feeling like, wow, this is unexpected. This is bigger than I am. So embrace that, let that in, say yes to love in all the ways it may show up for yourself. Make sure you're doing and saying and being loving with yourself first and foremost. Are you expressing self-love when it comes to how you take care of your body, how you feed yourself, how you move through space, how you're resting, what you're doing for your work, what your relationships are showing up? You can ask yourself this week, is this loving me? Do I love myself in the way that I work and who I'm working for? Do I love, bringing in the love question into all that you do? Am I loving myself when I feed myself this, when I'm drinking this? Is this loving myself? So is this person showing me divine love? If it feels like a yes, embrace it. If it feels like a no, maybe time to pitch that out or step away. Only divine love stays around this week is what it feels like. And so if you're questioning a relationship, if you offer it up and see that the signs of the divine are showing up in that relationship, it's going to be a big affirmation, a big yes on the love that you have in your life this week for the Tauruses. All right. We'll go on to the Gemini. So you've got Mars in your sign, so there can be this revved up energy and feeling like Mars can be impulsive, right? So you can feel like more agitated than usual with Mars, the god of war, in your sign, especially as it goes retrograde in your sign. You may have to redirect your energies, but this week it's still moving forward. So it can be lots of choices, lots of, I mean, you guys have a tendency to get up in your heads and bat things around anyway. You're the twins. You can be accused of being Jekyll Hyde, showing up in different ways. Mars is there asking you, what am I passionate about? What do I feel compelled to take energy to, and where do I feel compelled to put my energies? Where do I feel compelled to take action? You can get up there batting around choices all day long. What feels right in your gut? What feels right in your heart, Geminis? Ooh, the no thingness card. This is a blank, clean slate. This is a blank canvas. This is a new beginning. It's no thingness. You get to create something new. You get to paint something. You get to choose here. And again, there's lots of choices. What do you feel guided to create? So there's new creations happening with the Geminis. Is that a new song you're going to write? Is that a new painting you're going to paint? Is that a new book idea that you're getting that you're going to write, a new conversation you're going to have with someone, a new routine you're starting with yourself? There's something brand new this week. And the no thingness is not coming out of the head so much as like feeling called to it. Like I just feel pulled, like almost like on a trajectory, like you're being called by something, like something's pulling you this week. Go follow that intuition, follow the heart. What do you feel guided to do? It's always a good idea to get out of your head and just see what visions may come your way. Your dreams may be extra activated this week too. You may just, and if you don't know, sometimes it's a great space just to sit there with the no thingness. Just be still, not to have to do something. Sometimes this card is about doing nothing, just being. You can get into doing and thinking and like being. We're human beings first. So this may be a week to take a retreat, take some time off until you get inspired, until the inspiration just comes through. Don't force it. Allow yourself to sit still and be with the blank canvas, right? Until you get a vision, till you get some insight, until the vision comes, until you hear the song lyrics, until you see the drawing you're going to create, until you see the project you're going to do. Sit in the no thingness, sit in the emptiness, the void, as it were. Sit in that open space with the divine and just allow yourself to be until you get prompted, till the visions come. That's what I get for the Geminis this week. All right, we'll move to the Cancer. So this transformative energy with Pluto stationing direct is opposite, y'all. So you may feel really stirred up emotionally as well, because anything in opposition, you're going to be feeling it intensely. So you can really feel like you're making some major internal transformations. Your emotional body, things in your life are really shifting. Power and control issues may be showing up for you as well in your life. Where do you feel empowered? Maybe you've done something or going to do something where you just feel in your power. Letting go. So letting go is letting go of someone. Maybe you finish something and you can finally let that go. All right, done with that. Check that off my list. It can be letting go of some feelings that have been building up. Maybe you need to take, I see this as this like a tear, like you may need to cry. Maybe stress is built up and you just need to get in the shower or the bathtub and just cry and let some feelings out, because it feels like there's a built up reservoir of like hard times you've been going through. It's like, finally there's a release, a relief. letting something go, trusting the universe. Like if it's not meant to be, you can let go of it. A person, place, thing. Okay, I can let go of that. Letting go of stress. What are you worried about? Let go of it. Who are you worried about? Let go of that. Turn it over. Trust your prayer. Trust the divine within you. There's also, I'm getting insights. It's almost like the reflection in the water here. Like you may be able to see something really clearly this week. You may be letting go of mental debris, and all of a sudden you can just see really clearly something. It feels very peaceful, though. It feels like the deep, heavy sigh that you have after you've had a big cry, and then you may get a massage or get some healing work where you feel like you can just let go of physical stress too. Like you could really use some TLC from the universe. It feels like insights are coming. I'm seeing the green of the leaves. Like it just feels like this is a really lovely healing time. Let going of your worries, let go of your fears, knowing you've got everything you need right now. If you don't have it in your life right now, you don't need it. You can let it go. Really trust the universe. Step away. There's the eight here in this card, and I see the eight also as an infinity. So you're a part of this, like a cycle. And it feels like something's come to a conclusion, something new is beginning, and it feels like it's sort of the cycle of life, right? You'll have another beginning and letting go in the future, but it feels like, okay, I can let this stage of my life go. I can let this pattern go. I can let this person go. Universe will bring in for me what I need. I really get a lot of great insights coming in this week, like letting go of what's in your brain, what you're wrestling around with, and then like letting go of struggling over it. Then you get clarity coming in, just washing over you, that just feels super awesome this week for the Cancers. All righty. We'll go to the Leos. You guys may feel this full moon as well because your sign trines Aries. And so this full moon in Chiron and Aries could also feel like it's bringing something to a head, to conclusion for you in your life. Some deep level healing going on for y'all as well, with your sign trining Chiron and trining the full moon. The Aloneness card. This card came up 4 times last week. It also came up in one of my dailies this week. This is a call to silence. It's a call to meditation and spiritual practices. It's a call away from the 3D world, away from struggling with people, places, and things, and drawing into the divine, really making sure that you're creating time and space every day to connect with spirit, to connect with your higher self, to get the direction from your higher self, your inner voice, not your brain, your mind, not going off half-cocked, but really truly listening to what you feel called to do. You may be called to disconnect from the world this week and spend some time alone. This is not a negative aloneness card. This is a super positive aloneness. It's when aloneness that's rich with spirit. This is the spiritual retreat aloneness card. This is where you take time away to be fortified by the divine, seeking answers, seeking direction. Like you can have your questions answered this week by just taking them into silence, offering them up before you go to sleep at night, like really trusting that you're being guided. And so if there's any confusion you're having, any clarity that you're needing, the answers can really come in really simply and easily if you stop the struggle and you just drop open this week, Leos. So that's what I'm getting for the Leos for this week. Enjoy your spiritual connection this week. Also, spiritual people in your life that bring you in the messages that resonate as truth, whether that's people in your life, books you're reading, YouTube videos that you're watching. When truth comes in, you feel it. You feel a resonance. You feel a tug. You feel like, I need to pay attention to that. All right, we go to the Virgos. You guys are probably feeling better now that Mercury's gone direct. Clarity, energy to move forward, ease on down the road. It may feel happier, more joyful this week. All right, here we go again. There's also another card that popped up. So this aloneness card popped up. No, I think this is it though. Yeah. This card came up 4 times last week. It came up in my dailies this week as well. Like, I feel like there's all hands on deck kind of a thing when more people need to be activating their higher self, whether you're praying, you're chanting, you're meditating, you're breathing deeply, and often you're adding, when you drop open, when anyone drops open and connects with spirit, you raise your vibration. You pull away from the frenetic energy of the 3D realm, the fears, the worries, the anger, the rage, the confusion, the sadness, the sorrow, all the things that are going down in the 3D. When you insulate yourself, when you pull away from that and connect with spirit, you're opening up to all that you need: divine love, divine wisdom, divine insight, divine compassion, divine joy. So that's a rich space to be in, to where you're in. So when you do that, then you're raising your vibration, which then helps raise the vibration for everyone on the planet. This is why spiritual practices are not only paramount and so important for each person individually, but when the planet is going through difficult times, as we are right now, the more you give yourself to raising your vibration, it helps everyone in your life around you. Like, if you don't know what to do for others, go into meditation, go into prayer, go into spiritual retreat. And this really brings the energy that we need up and out in the world. So obviously this is super important because this card is hammering it. Came up 4 times last week. It's already come up twice now today. It's time to meditate. It's time to chant. It's time to pray. It's time to soak in the tub and disconnect from the world. It's time to go for the walk in the woods, sitting in front of the fire, playing your music, whatever it does that really taps you into the divine within yourself and the divine that permeates the universe. It is super, super important. So do your part, and you're helping not only yourself out, but you're helping the whole world out. And Virgos love to be helpers. So your best help for the rest of the world, for anyone else, is really to pray for them, but to really sincerely shift your vibrational energy, which impacts anybody and everyone who's tapped into your life. All righty, move into Libra. Y'all are feeling extra activated, kind of sun shining in your time. It's your birthday this week. Happy birthday, Libra. You got Venus now in your sign, so you might feel loved. Love can be coming into your life. Who do you love? What you love? Doing things that you love. You might feel extra called to doing music or art or something creative as well. May feel extra called to hanging out with your female friends, particularly if you're a woman, even if you're a male. But you know that the energy of the beauty of the divine feminine is definitely activated for the Libras right now. We've got the awareness card coming up. This is ahas, it's realizations, it's insights coming from higher self. It's being able to step away from, I don't know, I'm so confused, getting caught up in the emotional body, which Libras can often do. I don't know, maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, maybe that. We can spend our whole lives, I say we because I'm a Libra rising, so we can spend our whole lives just balancing, backing back and things, putting everyone else first, right? Libras have a tendency to be codependent. I'm going to call it tendency to put relationships and other people before yourself. So this is a huge aha and awareness of how to bring in the energies that you need for your life and how to place your energy. What energies, where is it important to put your energies? What realizations are you needing to have? This can be like dreams that just come in that are incredibly vivid. Someone can just come through with a spiritual truth and you're like, oh, I so needed to hear that this week. These are messages coming in from spirit. activated, like getting clear direction from the universe, getting clear truths revealed about people in your life. Like, I don't know about this person. Like all of a sudden you see them clearly. Oh, okay. I see your colors. I see the path here. I see what I need to do here. I see what's next for me to do. This is super powerful awareness. This is not being asleep. It's not going on a long half cock. This is like super conscious, super present, aware of your energies, what you're bringing to the table, what you have to offer, who you are, your gifts and talents, like understanding all that you have to offer the world and to people in your life. And also awareness is around the people in your life, the situations in your life, the directions that you need. This is, like I said, a breakthrough. It's moving out of the shadows into the light. It's clarity, it's visions, it's exciting. It's almost this electric energy and feeling like you are being supported by the universe. Your angels, your spirit guides are in full throttle support for you this week, it feels like. And they're showing you, they're protecting you. They're showing you they're there in your camp for you. You're seeing that you're not in it alone, right? Libras want to know that you got people around you. It's a we sign, you know, we. And Libra feels this week, the we feels like co-conspirators, right? It's people that are in your camp, that are there for you, that are cheering you on, whether that's in the spirit world or in the personal realm of your friends, family, the loved ones that are in your life. But it feels like that it just feels really heartfelt. The energy just feels like it goes straight into your heart this week. Like, oh my goodness, I am really loved by the universe. I really am supported by the universe. I'm getting that feel and clarity if you've been needing it, if you've been needing to be clear about certain areas, the direction you need to take, what steps you need to take, what you need to say, what you need to do. It feels like you get those answers in a very clear way this week, Libras. All righty, we'll go to the Scorpio. Since your ruling planet, Pluto, is stationing to turn direct this week, you may feel that personally, that you are feeling the rumblings before an earthquake or before a volcano goes up, that there's something you're about to just come into your power, is what it feels like. It's like, get out of your way. And you may feel irritable as this energy is shifting this week. You know, it's, again, dive into spiritual practices, dive into exercise, movement. That could be really helpful this week, because these feel like energies that are bigger than you, that you're having to process in your system. So it's like, all right, breathe deeply and often, get into the water to swim. It feels like, you guys are water signs, so it may be a great week to, soak in the tub, take those long hot showers, go for a swim, get in the water as much as you can, drink water as much as you can. Let's see what your card is. Oh my God, here we go again. All right, so this is the third time this card has come up today. It came up 4 times last week. This is super important. It is paramount that those who can tap into spiritual practices do so. To me, the fact that this card keeps coming up last week, this week, this is about how important it is that we're accessing our higher self and bringing that energy out on the planet, that the planet is in a crisis place. We all affect the environment and the world around us, right? The environment is a reflection of ourselves. When we're caught up in the fears and the worries in the 3D realm, we're just kind of in the mix of the crud. When we carve out the time and space to connect with our higher self, to connect with the divine, we raise our vibrations, we raise our life condition, we bring out a higher, pure energy, and then we put that out on the planet. That is so important to be happening right now, obviously, because the fact that this card keeps coming up over and over and over again tells me we're at a critical time. All hands on deck, on knees to the ground in prayer. Like, it's time to really be serious about your spiritual practices. This is not, oh yeah, I know I need to meditate. Oh, yeah, I know I should be chanting. No. This is like, carve it out as the number one priority this week. It is paramount that you connect with the divine within yourself. And you may have to say no to social things just to be insulated and spend some time refortifying yourself. Like if people around you are in distress, you getting caught up in their feelings doesn't help anybody. You getting caught up in the feelings of divine love, divine compassion, divine joy, divine wisdom, and then generating that out to the world. When Scorpios get into their power, ooh, it is super, super powerful. So the world, the people around you in your life need you to be in your divine power this week. You may be channeling that energy. If you're like a healer in some way, or you're a leader in some way, that energy may be moving through you. You may be channeling things out your mouth that people need to hear this week. You may be having the energy come out your hands. Listen, if you feel like literally laying hands on someone, some of you are healers, you're massage therapists, you're Reiki people, you're acupuncturist, you're chiropractic, you're laying hands on people with your daily life anyway. Be particularly tuned in to what energies are moving through you. Like I feel like you've got extra guides suiting up and showing up to help work through you this week, because it feels like it is critical time this week. And it's time to connect with your higher self, to connect with spirit, to put that beautiful energy out onto the planet. You need it, and the planet needs it. The people in your life need it. So that's what I get for the Scorpios. All right, we'll move into the Sagittariuses. The natural seekers is revving up their motorcycle back and forth outside my window. I don't know if you can hear that, but someone wants to go for a joyride. Maybe that applies to some of you Sagittarius who are watching this. Getting on the back of a motorcycle and going for a drive out in the world may be happening for some of you. Let's see. All right, we've got the integration card. This is one of my psychic cards. This is about integrating your intuition into what you're doing, into your work life, into your family, into your home, into your relationships, into how you're caring for yourself, how you're feeding yourself. This is a balancing out of the divine masculine and divine feminine, but there's a channeled energy. There's all this activation. There's a crystal showing up in the crown chakra area. There's a rainbow energy up here. So there's like divine pouring of insight and energies coming in. So like be open to receive that energy. And it feels like there's a strong activation with the moon this week too. So you may really feel charged. Your sign is in trine, which is a positive connection with this full moon. So you may feel this zap from the full moon next weekend. You may feel the activation of Chiron's energy in your sign as well, because your sign is trining Chiron, and when the moon is going to be full there next Sunday. So you could feel like this zap of energy, a completion, something coming full circle. You may be getting guidance and psychic visions in your dreams for others. You may find yourself channeling for others this week. This is showing you have a strong psychic activation this week. So listen to your intuition, follow its guidance, write it down. This would be a great week to write down all your psychic hits, as I call them. When you get insights, when you get a flash of something, when you get someone's name and then they text or call, those are wonderful, wonderful insights coming in. And the snake eating its tail here is, to me, it's like death and rebirth, something coming full circle as well, like something ending and something new beginning, this cycle of life. I'm really getting activation here in the hands. There's like this, not only is it holding the Tao symbol, the yin yang, the balancing, the divine masculine and feminine, but there's like this holy activation around your hands. So you may be literally putting hands on people this week. You may be feeling called to give someone a massage, or just to, there's like an activation in your hands. Maybe you're putting that into the food you're cooking, or something you're writing, or even instruments you're playing, or even how you're dressing someone, or where you're holding someone. I'm just feeling this activation with your hands this week. Pay attention to how that shows up. But it feels like, woo, psychic abilities off the chain this week for the Sages. Being able to really see insight, see some shadow sides of yourself as well. The yin yang can be the incorporating the dark within and the light within. It's okay. We all have the fundamental darkness. We all have the divine light within. It's like being able to integrate that and say, yeah, okay, well, that's areas that I need to work on, but this is areas that I'm doing well in, and being really good with where you're at right now is what I'm getting for the Sages. Okay. Let me go into the Capricorn. Got the moon in your sign right now for the next couple of days, so you might feel activated in that way. Got Pluto changing things up in your sign, so you may feel personally like when Pluto's been in your sign for a while, so most of the Capricorns that I see and I know have been going through transformation and major change for a while now. Pluto's been in your sign since 2008, so probably the biggest period of change that you've ever gone through in your life. And it's really bringing things to a head in these last degrees, moving forward, transforming some deeply personal things since it's in your home sign. Got the guidance card. So this is about listening to your own inner voice. Again, everyone's psychic. We all have a guidance system. This feels so important to listen to your guidance, or also notice when someone else gives you guidance, or when the universe is speaking to you and it feels like you're feeling activated, or you get a yes, amen, or that feels right. You're logical. You guys are strong. You kind of know the way a lot yourself. You're natural leaders, but sometimes your natural headstrongness can pull you off track. And this is saying, listen to inner voice, not brain, not mind, but intuition. What do you feel guided to do? What brings you joy to contemplate? Where do you feel called in your life? Like, sometimes it can be harder to really discern that because y'all are really productive. You're getting busy, getting things done every day, working hard, while the rest of the world is kind of slacking. It can probably feel like that a lot, but this is maybe a week to take time off for so much doing and spend more time being, spend more time trying to access that divine inner voice and getting softer, getting quiet, being self-reflective. Some of you may be getting sick, and it's your body's way of just shutting down so that you listen. Maybe you've been running yourself on burning the candle at both ends too long now. It's time to just, all right, let's take a chill pill. Let's go within. What do I need to listen to? What do I need to hear? What do I need to do? What do I feel guided to do? What is my higher self calling me to do? And there's like, this guide has wings. Like, this is if you listen to your intuition, it can free you up instead of things feeling so intense. It feels like there's just been like, oh, this intensity. Like, I'm feeling like you guys need some massage. Like, it feels like shoulders have gone up to the ears and there's been like something you've been working hard at or trying to control. It's like, whoo, okay, take a break, step away, let go, breathe deeply, go for a run, like, go work out, get the physical stuff out of your physical body. I'm getting, like, really nurture yourself, up the self-care, soak in the tub, get a massage, go for the run, go for a walk, work out in the gym, go dancing, listen to music, soften and listen to higher guidance this week. There's messages coming through for you if you can get open, right? Kind of like the job of the wide receiver in football is just to go get open. That's your job this week. It's like, just go get open. Expect to receive downloads, expect to receive psychic messages, expect that, and you will receive it. Go to sleep at night. If there's something you're chewing on, offer that up before you go to sleep at night, and let your dreams bring you answers. Let your guides come in with support. You guys can do so many things by yourself, and you can do it. You're the leader and you're doing it all. Like, this is like, let the universe come in and support you. Let yourself rest a little bit. Let yourself soften a little bit. You don't have to plow through this week. It's like, okay, breathe and let things flow more. Be at ease more this week. That's what I get for the Capricorns. All right, let's go to the Aquarians. You guys may be feeling this square between Uranus and Saturn, since Saturn is in your home sign, the constriction, the restriction, and the desire to break free of where the walls are coming up, where you're getting the stop signs, when you're getting the no's from the universe showing up. And, you know, you're the maverick. You're like, don't fence me in. Don't put me in a box. Get me this. Let me have the space to be free. So you may be really busting out of the chains that other people may be trying to bind you. Some of you may be trying to bind yourself, but if I feel like you're trying to please others if that's the case, because normally, naturally, you guys, F the world, I'm going to do what I want. This is a contentious relationship with the Uranus and Saturn coming up all week long. So you may feel sort of in a vice grip, but remember to go within, listen to inner voice for your guidance, for your direction, how to take action. This harmony card is echoing that. It's like, oh, okay, things can be flowy, and I can bring in people and the guides into my life that'll help things flow. This is about picking up psychically on other people, trusting your intuition. This is the dolphins dancing together. This harmony card comes up when you're in simpatico with the universe. You've got people coming in your life that are helping to support you. You're getting psychic connections. You're picking up on the people that have the messages for you that are important for you to connect with. This is like heartfelt connection. It's like, it feels like your heart is like going, yes, boy, I needed that shot of love from the universe coming in. I needed to trust that I'm not alone, that the universe has my back, that things are going to work out, that there can be a flow and an ease instead of this constriction, this restriction that you've been dealing with Saturn in your sign. Like, most of you are having to change up your life in some way because of this Saturn is saying, oh, no, change up how you put your energy, change up how, and so it's kind of like, okay, enough already. Can I just be free? So this also, the harmony in the water and the dolphins is like, get in the water, drink more water, soak in the tub, go swimming if you can, spend more time in or near the water. You may just sit and listen to a waterfall or a water fountain, staring into the water. Any moving water that you can be around was really good for you this week. And there's just like, I feel like there's a heart healing this week. There may be some old pain, and maybe you're psychically picking up on a loved one that's crossed over, or a loved one that you're separated from and you can't see a lot, but there's a beautiful heart connection happening nonetheless. Like if you've been psychically tied to someone, if you know someone's been with you in past lives, even if they've left this plane or they're not in your life currently, those psychic ties don't go away. So there can be some comfort in tapping into loved ones that have crossed or are no longer with you, and just like feeling their energy, maybe receiving messages from them in spirit or psychically. You may actually hear from someone that you haven't heard from in a while, that you have a heart tie with, that's part of your soul tribe. But this is a beautiful, peaceful energy, and thank God you're needing it, is what it feels like. Just bring in the harmony, please. Thank you very much. Harmony, also music. You may really want to listen to music, dance to music, write your own music, sing some music. Like it feels like the harmony, the music element of harmony is also very important this week for the Aquarians. All righty, last but not least, we'll go to the Pisces. Neptune in your sign. It's been there for a while. It's really activating psychic and spiritual connections for most of you in a powerful way. Jupiter is about to back into your sign here by the end of the month. So it's bringing you good luck again, sort of checking in again, giving you extra jolts of love from the universe is what I'm feeling for the Pisces. And here we go again. All right, just like last week, this now card has come up for the fourth time. So I'm getting that this is coming up for so many signs because the world is at a critical place right now and needs all hands on deck, needs people connecting with the divine within themselves, needs people connecting in spirit. Whatever is going on in our lives, we're affecting the world around us, right? If we're not taking time to disconnect from the world, we can especially Pisces are super psychic. A lot of you are empathic. You start feeling the pulse of the collective. If the collective is full of rage or fear or anxiety or worry, you start taking that in, right? The way to change that energy is to tap into the divine, which is the source of wisdom, of compassion, of joy, of love. So there's a need to tap into the matrix of the divine and step away from the 3D world and then bring and channel this divine energy to the planet, because apparently the planet is needing it majorly. If this card comes up 4 times this week, 4 times last week, it came up in my dailies this week as well. Like, this card is being hammered, coming up so much right now, the aloneness time. It's time to detach from the world, maybe go on a social media break, or at least cut down the amount of time you're spending in frenetic energy, taking in the crazy vibes of that's going down on the planet. Like, disconnect from the news, disconnect from your social media, take a little social media break, go on spiritual retreat if you can. Up the time that you spend breathing deeply, meditating, chanting, praying. It is paramount that you put your energies into spiritual practices and put that energy out on the planet so that you can be a part of raising the vibration, not only for yourself so that you can deal with what's going on in the world. That's really important, but that you can help change the vibration of what's going down on the planet right now, because we're in a critical place. This is an intensive week with Pluto rearing its head to turn around. So the god of the underworld is moving in the skies, and it can be intensive out there. Power and control issues. So we need all hands on deck in a spiritual way. You're being called to spiritual practices as much as you can. Please do that. Connect with your higher self. Listen to your intuition in all things. Disconnect from the society as much as possible and really go within where it's safe, where you could have this safe, divine, yummy connection with all that is, and then bring that back out into the world. You may be channeling this week for others as well. That energy may be flowing through you and to others, especially if you're a healer. Things may be coming out of your mouth that's divinely inspired. It feels like the world needs your energy at its highest vibration on the planet this week. Okay, so that's what I have for all 12 signs. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to get some more water. I'm going to get my guitar. And when you see me next, I'll be playing you an original song. Okay, so the song I'm going to play for you is an original one. It is one of my oldest songs. I wrote this in my 20s. But I had already started doing psychic readings, and I was chewing on the idea of how so many people were coming to me for advice, for guidance about their future. And I was wondering, well, how could I come to me? And I got the idea, and I had this vision, and that's what this song is called, The Vision. I had this vision of going to myself when I was, in my 90s. And what would I say to myself if I were able to talk to myself in my young 20s, or maybe I was around 30 when I wrote this, and I approached myself at age 90? What would I have to say back? And so that was the space where I wrote this song. The song was channeled, and which means the information just came through. I mean, sometimes when I'm writing a song, I can pick a topic and craft the words, and then other times I get the idea and the song just comes through. And this is one of these songs that when it came through quickly and easily. So hope you enjoy it. And again, the song is called The Vision. I saw her there in and silver hair, a ring upon her hand that had seen more than 50 years of wear. She smiled at me, acknowledging the reason I was there. I traveled oh so far, made a wish upon a star, and I have found my dreams led me to you. I come from a place where fear has ruled my life. Big obstacles loom out and seem to clip my wings from flight. Can you tell me, will I break these karmic chains? And she said, follow your heart and know your desires will come true for you. It's hard to see now, but life has abundance to pour out to you. I searched her eyes to see the truth of what she knew. There sat a one who'd seen my lifetimes three, and she said, be easy with yourself, relax, slow down, take one day at a time. Commitment to your path is all you need to see your dreams come true. I looked at her eyes the same as mine. I saw what I will look like over time. I saw her there with silver hair, a ring upon her hand that had seen more than 50 years of wear. She smiled at me, acknowledging the reason I was there. I traveled oh so far, made a wish upon a star, and I have found my dreams will all come true. And she said, I know that love will flow through you. From the heart, tears, peace.